Well, hello there. Welcome to that integral life, baby. That integral life. Whether it's these life coach guys, or spiritual guru guys, or tarot guys, or even religious guys, who are, all kind of are saying the same thing. Oh, live in the moment. Raise your vibrational frequency, manifest everything, but eliminate all of your negative thoughts, get out of your own way. And it's like, okay, all right, yeah, this all sounds great. Fucking how? How have any of you done this? You know what I mean? And so, that's what my issue became after a while. It's like, sure, I'm on board, fucking, like, I want to do it, and there was nothing about how to do that, how they did that, or whatever. I am not a spiritual guru. I am not a life coach. I am not even trying to be. I am Franklin, and I am a being who is focused on and committed to living a more joyful, loving, and peaceful life. And so that's what this is about. That is the point. Right. But, hearing that you are the problem in your life, no matter how true that may or may not be, is not very motivating, and definitely isn't helpful in terms of getting a person out of a place where they're feeling shitty and into a place where they're feeling a bit better. And moving forward, and that's what I want this show, Integral Being in particular, to bring. That's its essence, sharing my journey of how I got here to a place where I'm feeling good enough to do this, which is huge for me. And I'd like to be an integral part of doing the same for you, if that's what you want for yourself. It's not about being perfect. This channel and this work, let's call it, is not about something being wrong with you or something being wrong with me. This is about the fact that we live in a world that throws shit at us. You know what I mean? Like, we have to deal with, that we have to manage, that we have to integrate, and still somehow be joyful enough and peaceful enough in our minds to, like, show up and put out, what is authentic energy from ourselves.
I realize that my life path is about understanding and sharing. That's something that is everything for me. And people kind of approach, what is my purpose in life? Who am I? From the perspective of, like, what they are. Well, I really got to where I am by chipping away everything that I am not. Like how an artist or sculptor will be like, okay, I have a slab of something, like stone, and I see that there's a horse in that stone, and I chip away everything that isn't that horse, and that has been my life. My life has been the process of chipping away everything that is not me, that is not understanding, and that is not sharing, and balance. And to me, that's part of sharing, of course, right? The equilibrium of balance. That I understand that, and what does it mean to share, and what does it mean to understand? One good thing that I realized about it, or a good example of it, I realized is a friend of mine. His dog comes to stay with me. It's a beautiful dog. Maybe I'll splice in some footage of Mars. He's a beautiful, beautiful beast. And what I realized is that, like, he's sweet and has the best disposition, so friendly, so loving. And at the same time, he's a total beast. The dog is a wolf dog. And so he has his moments when he clicks off, and those are usually when another male dog is involved, and gets a hold of one, or one gets a hold of him, and you can see this beast come out, and this dog that is the sweetest, kindest, like, most loving dog ever. And I realized, he is as much beast as he is beautiful in the sense of gentle. He's just as much beast as he is gentle. And something really struck me in that realization. Like, something really resonated with me about that. Like, understanding him, you know, who he truly is, you know, not just the side of him that I like, you know, but the side of him that is representative of another aspect of him that's just as real, you know, that I might not like as much, you know, but in order to be with him, truly with that dog, like he and I together, when he comes to visit on the street or at the house, you know, here on the property, I have to understand his nature, you know. So to me, almost everything is that way. Everything has a part of it that is maybe I prefer, you know, or that, you know, people can prefer, and then a part of it that, like, is undesired. It's like, oh God, if I could leave that, you know, someplace else, I'd leave it. I'd drop it off and leave it. You know what I'm saying? Far away from myself. But, like, that's not possible. And so understanding myself and understanding other people required me kind of really going deep into my nature and accepting and seeing, you know, because understanding requires seeing. You have to be willing to see what you don't want to see, or be willing to see what you don't like in order to kind of understand something, you know. Like I said, chipping away at all of the things that are not that thing, you know, so that you can see that thing clearly. Well, it requires, you know, you to see those things that are not that thing, and that are.
Fuck suffering. And I mean that as an elevation pitch, right? Not that we're gonna ignore it, not that we're turning our backs from it, not that we're pretending like one day we will be like so zen that there will be no shit in our life, you know? Bullshit. There's always going to be some shit. And to wrap our minds around that challenges our perspective and our placement and our joy and our peace in some way that actually will, in the end, allow us to grow and expand as people, right? Because isn't it almost always some kind of trauma that leads us to expansive and meaningful growth in our lives? I think it usually is, yes. Our first conversation, it seems like, has to do with race and identity that's built upon physical characteristics and why that's lame. Is a few days ago, my youngest, we were walking around town the other day. He was born here in Zagreb. I'm an American. I was born in Columbus, Ohio. Lived in Ohio, you know, until I finished college, and then went to law school on the East Coast and met his dad, getting a master's in law on the East Coast in New Hampshire, Concord, New Hampshire. Eventually moved to Zagreb, and so he was born in Zagreb. He approached me and was like, he's being confronted, you know, with comments like, oh, but he's not really black. You know what I'm saying? Not just because his dad is Croatian and not black, but also because he was born in Croatia. And this was really annoying to me on a fundamental level, like triggering at first. And I wanted to be like, oh, yo, who are these people? Fuck these people, you know, just fuck off these people. And then I realized, you know, what's interesting is that I went through a very similar thing, even as a black person in America. You know, so it's a question that I always needed to grapple with. So it was maybe mostly annoying to me that now somebody's asking, you know, my you know, offspring, like, what is their status? I guess I shouldn't be surprised, right? But it's just interesting because it's such a kind of monocultural country, you know. There is not a lot of diversity here. There's one, the oldest, he's 17, and then the youngest, who is now 15, who I'm telling you is the catalyst for this conversation. These guys are always singled out because they're obviously not white, you know, and everybody else is for the most part. And so now to have somebody singling them out because one, you know, they're not black enough, you know, and then also because they're not Croatian enough, you know, to me just got me to the point where it's like, what are we still talking about? And in the end, of course, the conclusion was, come on, you're a universal being. We're all universal beings, and we're far beyond the point where we need to categorize ourselves in terms of race, gender, sexuality, nationality. You know, it's all about the expression of our internal personality externally into the world and having that be as authentic as possible and not be tied to some kind of other kind of construct-based sense of identity. I had a long discussion with him about our history, our family history, which I realized I hadn't done before, in terms of what made me feel connected to my own blackness and to blackness as an identity. I mean, maybe not obviously to everyone, but I am a mixed race person as well, you know, with Native American white and black being descendant of slave black, not black being directly from some African culture or country. Sure, what I would love to do is really kind of have these types of catalyst conversations. These catalyst conversations that spark ideas that help us to expand and evolve. So if you're interested, then join the conversation.
I came up with an idea about how people could contribute. So I was thinking we could do something like either you get like to the camera like this, you know, like you do an eye, you know, and speak to the camera this way, you know, and record a comment or record a video and share it with us, like upload it and share it. Or the same, like here, you could do like from the mouth down, you know, you record and you share like this. So people have some feeling of anonymity if they like, if they don't want to be associated with their comments, like, and their under their username, you know, they can do a quick video or share it with me via email. I can introduce their comments in other video segments, you know, and we can talk about it, and that's how we can have a conversation. I really want it to be a conversation. I don't want it to be just me. So I was trying to think of ways that other people could share visual material, like audio-visual material, without having to actually personally identify themselves. And I wouldn't, of course, then use their usernames. And I can't help it if somebody might recognize, oh, that's my best friend's eye. Like your best friend might know. The only thing is, as long as they don't call you out, and I will protect, and I'll protect people in the comments. So like, if people try to like identify people, that's not what the purpose of it is. And we're going out of our way here so that people feel like they can just be heard by the content of their commentary, by the content of the conversation, and not necessarily by their identity per se, you know. And if they want to identify, that's fine and well and good also. That's also welcome. I just want you to understand, you know, what that means in terms of the internet shelf life, you know, and if you ever change your mind about where you're at, which is exactly what we're talking about here, you know, expansion, growth, you know, evolution, you know, some people are born into who they are, some people evolve into who they are. I'm one of these people who is evolving into myself. So that's that. Welcome to being.trfranklin. I'm happy to have you here, and I'm really looking forward to us talking. Peace.